Have you ever noticed a strange, almost terrifying pattern in the world of success? Look at history, look at the corporate world, or even just look at your own social circle. The most devastating, life-ruining collapses rarely happen when someone is at rock bottom. When you're at the bottom, you are careful. You are hyper-aware. You calculate every single move because survival is on the line. No, the most catastrophic failures almost always happen immediately after a massive, unprecedented victory. We are told our entire lives to keep pushing, to never settle, and to 10x our goals. We are completely brainwashed by a hustle culture that glorifies endless, blind momentum. But this is a dangerous lie. In the ruthless reality of power dynamics, momentum is a wild beast. If you do not know exactly when to put a leash on it, it will turn around and eat you alive. Welcome to the dark, unspoken reality of Robert Greene's law. 47. In victory, learn when to stop. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. This is arguably the most difficult law to master in all of the 48 laws of power, because it requires you to fight against your own biology. When you win, when you close that massive deal, when your project goes viral, or when you finally defeat a long-time rival, your brain floods with dopamine. You experience a literal chemical high. This is what we call the intoxication of victory, and just like a drunk driver who genuinely believes they are perfectly fine to drive home, a person drunk on their own success loses all ability to see risks. They believe their victory is not a result of careful strategy, timing, or luck, but a result of their own absolute genius. They begin to think they are a god, and the moment you think you are untouchable, human nature will ensure you are brutally reminded of your mortality. Think about the fast-paced, high-stress environments we operate in today. Let us talk about a guy I knew in the financial sector. We will call him David. David was a smart, calculated trader. He spent 6 months researching a specific highly volatile tech stock. He planned his entry, he planned his exit, and he executed his strategy flawlessly. He made a life-changing amount of money in a single afternoon. That was his goal. That was the mark he aimed for. But what happened next? The dopamine hit. The victory went straight to his ego. Instead of taking his massive winnings and stepping back, he felt invincible. He looked at the market and thought, I am a genius, I cannot lose. Immediately took all of his profits and leveraged them into an even riskier, completely unresearched trade because he wanted the high of another immediate victory. By the time the market opened the next morning, he had lost everything. He did not lose because he was stupid. He lost because he did not know how to stop winning. This is the first fatal mistake of the victorious, the illusion of invincibility. When you win, you create a narrative in your head that your success is permanent. You forget the months of hard work, the careful planning, and the specific circumstances that led to that victory. You start to believe that your mere presence guarantees success. This is exactly what Niccolo Machiavelli warned against when he analyzed the fall of great princes. He observed that rulers who pushed beyond their original objectives inevitably stretched their supply lines, agitated new enemies, and collapsed under their own weight. In the modern world, your supply lines are your emotional energy, your capital, and your reputation. When you push too far, you exhaust them all. Why do we do this? Why is it so incredibly hard to just stop, enjoy the win, and secure the territory? It is because society has fundamentally misunderstood the nature of ambition. We treat ambition like a gas pedal that should always be pressed to the floor, but real grand strategy is about knowing when to hit the brakes. If you achieve your goal and immediately demand more, you are no longer acting on strategy. You are acting on pure, unfiltered greed. And greed makes you blind to the shifting dynamics of the room. Imagine you are in a tense salary negotiation or a high-stakes business meeting. You laid out your terms, you argued your case, and to your surprise, the other side completely agrees. They surrender. They give you exactly what you asked for. What is your natural instinct? Because you are riding the high of victory, your ego whispers, if they agreed to this so easily, I should have asked for more. So you push. You add one more condition. You try to squeeze just a little bit more out of the situation. In that exact moment, the dynamic shifts. The other party, who was ready to shake your hand, suddenly feels humiliated and manipulated. They realize you are not negotiating in good faith. You are just trying to dominate them. They pull the entire offer off the table. You went past the mark, and you turned a historic win into a devastating loss. This is the street-level reality of law. 47. You must understand that every victory alters the landscape. When you defeat an enemy or achieve a massive goal, you create a new reality. People are watching you differently. Some are intimidated, yes, but others are silently becoming envious. As we discussed in the Psychology of Power previously, a massive victory already puts a target on your back. If you continue to push aggressively after you have already won, you validate every negative thought your enemies have about you. You prove to them that you are ruthless, unsatisfied, and a danger to everyone around you. They will no longer just envy you, they will actively conspire to destroy you. So how do we fight this biological urge? How do we build the mental discipline to achieve massive success without letting it poison our minds? In the next part, we are going to dive into the second fatal flaw of the victorious, the overreach. We are going to look at the psychological concept of the shadow of success, using Carl Jung's theories to understand why our darkest, most destructive traits only emerge when we are standing at the top of the mountain. We are going to break down the exact moment when ambition turns into arrogance and how to spot it before it ruins your life. To understand why victory is so dangerous, we have to look into the basement of the human psyche. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists in history, spoke about the shadow. This is the part of your personality that contains all your repressed desires, your hidden aggression, and your secret arrogance. Normally, when you are struggling or working toward a goal, your shadow is kept in check. You have to be humble to learn. You have to be polite to network. You have to be disciplined to survive. But the moment you achieve a massive victory, the shadow sees an opening. It thinks, finally, I don't have to pretend anymore. I am the king now. This is the exact moment when the shadow of success takes over, and it is the exact moment when you start making mistakes that will eventually destroy you. Think about the way we operate in the 2026 digital economy. We see this all the time with creators or entrepreneurs who have one viral hit. One video gets 10 million views, or one product launch generates 6 figures in a weekend. Suddenly, their entire personality shifts. They stop doing the boring, basic things that made them successful in the first place. They stop listening to their audience. They stop researching their market. They start believing that everything they touch will turn to gold simply because they touched it. They suffer from what Robert Greene calls strategic overreach. They expand too fast, they spend too much, and they pick fights with bigger competitors because they have lost their sense of reality. They have forgotten that victory is often a temporary alignment of timing, effort, and luck. They think it's a permanent superpower. I've seen this happen to a startup genius I knew back in the day. Let's call him Mark. Mark built a niche software tool that became incredibly popular within a specific industry. It was a solid, focused business. He hit his target. He was a millionaire. But instead of securing that territory and perfecting the product, Mark's shadow took the wheel. He decided he was going to take on the giants. He hired a massive team he didn't need, rented a flashy office he couldn't afford, and started pivoting into 3 different industries at once. He pushed past the mark. He wanted to be the next tech god. Within 18 months, his original product was neglected. His cash flow was gone, and his reputation was in the trash. He overreached because he was drunk on his first victory. He didn't know how to stop. Why is this so common? Because in the moment of victory, you feel like the laws of gravity no longer apply to you. You feel like you have outsmarted human nature itself. But Robert Greene is very clear. The laws of power never stop working. If you become arrogant, you create enemies. If you stop being careful, you leave yourself open to attack. If you push too far, you create a backlash from the universe. This is a concept we see in ancient History and modern business alike, the higher you fly without a stable base, the more violent the fall. Look at the most successful people you truly admire, the ones who stay at the top for 20, 30 or 40 years. Do they constantly push for more at any cost? No. They are masters of the strategic pause. They win and then they stop. They look at the new landscape. They evaluate who is now jealous of them. They secure their gains. They realize that a victory is like a mountain peak. The air is thin up there, and you can't stay forever. You have to climb down a little, set up a base camp, and prepare for the next climb. They don't let their ego dictate the next move. They let the reality of the situation guide them. Let's get real for a second. We all have a bit of Mark or David inside of us. We all have that voice that says, just one more. Just a little further. I can't lose now. That voice is your greatest enemy. It is the voice of the shadow trying to lead you off a cliff. To master Law 47, you have to be able to hear that voice and tell it to shut up. You have to be able to look at a massive win and say, this is enough for today. This is not about being lazy or settling. This is about being a professional. A professional gambler knows when to walk away from the table. A professional soldier knows when to stop the pursuit before they run into an ambush. A professional strategist knows that the most powerful move you can make after a victory is often nothing. Have you ever felt that itch to keep going, even when you knew you were tired? That urge to send one more aggressive email or make one more risky investment? That is the moment where your future is decided. If you can stop, you win. If you push, you gamble everything you've already earned. Robert Greene tells us that the greatest commanders in history were the ones who knew how to consolidate. They didn't just conquer territory. They turned that territory into a fortress. Most people are so busy trying to conquer the next city that they forget to lock the doors of the city they just took. This brings us to a very uncomfortable question that most people are afraid to ask themselves. Do you actually want to be successful, or do you just want to feel superior? Because if you want to be successful, you will follow the strategy. You will win, stop, and secure. But if you just want to feel superior, you will keep pushing until you fail, because your ego is never satisfied. It is a bottomless pit. In the next part, we are going to look at how to build the mental circuit breaker that stops you from sabotaging yourself. We are going to look at the social cost of winning too much and how to manage the envy of others so they don't pull you down. We are going to move from the psychology of the self to the psychology of the crowd. Because when you win, the world changes its mind about you. And if you aren't ready for that shift, you are already in trouble. Now, let's talk about the world outside your head. We've discussed the internal shadow and the chemical dopamine trap. But there is an even more dangerous element at play when you win: the people watching you. One of the most brutal truths Robert Greene teaches us is that every victory, no matter how clean it feels to you, creates a new set of enemies. In your moment of triumph, you think everyone is applauding your hard work. You think your success is a sign of your excellence. But the reality is that your success is a direct insult to the ego of everyone who didn't win. When you stand on the podium, you are physically and metaphorically looking down on others. And human nature does not take kindly to being looked down upon. In the world of 2026, where every win is broadcasted and every success is shared in real time, envy management is more important than the success itself. If you do not know when to stop your pursuit, you aren't just gaining more power, you are accumulating envy debt. Every time you push past your original goal to rub your victory in an enemy's face, or to take just one more piece of their territory, you are paying a massive tax in the form of hatred. And unlike financial debt, you cannot declare bankruptcy on envy debt. It stays with you, it follows you, and it waits for the perfect moment to collect. Let's look at a street-level example of this in the modern, creative or business landscape. Imagine a local business owner, let's call him Jason. Jason runs the most successful coffee shop chain in his city. He hit his mark. He is profitable and respected. But Law 47 warns us not to go past the mark. Jason, drunk on his victory and wanting to feel like the absolute king of the city, decides to aggressively put every other small cafe out of business. He uses his capital to undercut their prices. He buys up their leases and he mocks them on social media. To Jason, this feels like winning. He thinks he's showing his strength. But look at what is happening in the shadows. The people who lost their businesses aren't just disappearing, they are becoming martyrs. The local community starts to see Jason not as a successful entrepreneur, but as a bully. A silent coalition begins to form. Customers start boycotting his shops. His employees, sensing his toxic arrogance, begin to leak his business secrets to competitors. By pushing for total domination instead of stopping at excellence, Jason turned his victory into a target. He created a shared enemy, himself. He didn't know when to stop. And now the very environment that made him successful has turned hostile. This is the underdog effect. Humans are biologically wired to root for the underdog and to despise the unstoppable winner. When you achieve your goal and then keep pushing, you lose the moral high ground. You become the villain in everyone else's story. Robert Greene points out that the most successful strategists in history were those who knew how to mask their victories. They won, but they did it with a certain level of humility. They gave the losers a way to save face. They stopped exactly at the point where a further push would have made them look like a tyrant. Think about Law 47 in terms of a digital search engine optimization for your life. If you want to rank high in the world of power and stay there, you cannot have a high bounce rate of trust. If people feel like you are a person who will never stop, who will always take more and who can never be satisfied, they will stop trusting you. They will stop wanting to work with you. You might win the battle today, but you are losing the war of reputation. I remember a conversation I had with a high-level negotiator who dealt with massive corporate mergers. He told me, the worst thing you can do is leave the other side with nothing. If you take every single penny off the table, they will spend the next 10 years trying to sue you or sabotage your reputation. But if you leave them with a small win, a way to tell their board of directors that they stood their ground, you buy yourself a decade of peace. That is Law 47 in practice. It's the realization that total victory is often a strategic failure. Robert Greene often references the fall of great empires like the Napoleonic era to prove this point. Napoleon was perhaps the greatest military mind of his age. He won battle after battle, but he was addicted to the high. He didn't know how to consolidate. He pushed into Russia because he couldn't stop winning. He went past the mark he aimed for, and in doing so, he exhausted his army and united all of Europe against him. He was destroyed not by a lack of talent, but by a lack of restraint. Are you a Napoleon in your own life? Are you so obsessed with the next 10x goal that you are ignoring the fact that your friends are pulling away, your family is feeling neglected, and your peers are sharpening their knives? Are you building a kingdom of cards that will collapse the moment the wind changes? To master this law, you have to realize that the end of a successful project is the most dangerous time. It is the time when you are most likely to make a clumsy move because you are relaxed and overconfident. You need a strategic pause. You need to step away from the noise, ignore the applause, and ask yourself, did I hit my mark? Is this where I said I would stop? If the answer is yes, then you must stop. You must secure the territory. You must pay the envy tax by being humble and sharing the credit. In the final part of this series, we are going to look at the mental circuit breaker. I am going to give you the practical, daily habits you need to build to ensure that victory doesn't destroy you. We are going to look at the post-victory protocol and how to transition from a hunter to a guardian. We are moving from the thrill of the chase to the wisdom of the long game. Because the goal isn't just to win once, it's to stay a winner forever. So, how do we stop the bleeding before it starts? How do we build a mental circuit breaker that shuts down our ego the moment we cross the finish line? Because let's be honest, when the crowd is cheering and the money is hitting your account, Your logic is gone. You are high, and you cannot trust a high person to make strategic decisions. This is where you need a post-victory protocol, a set of rules you follow every single time you win, no matter how big or small the victory is. The first rule of the protocol is the 24-hour silence. After a massive win, you make 0 decisions for 24 hours. You don't sign new contracts, you don't launch new projects, and you definitely don't send any victory lap emails to your rivals. You step away from the battlefield. You go to the gym, you spend time with your family, or you literally just sit in a room and stare at the wall. You need to let the dopamine levels normalize. You need to let the shadow crawl back into its hole. If a deal is truly good, it will still be there tomorrow. If a move is truly strategic, it will survive a day of waiting. The second rule is the luck audit. This is a brutal exercise in humility. You sit down with a piece of paper and you write down exactly why you won. But here is the catch. You are not allowed to credit your own genius. You have to identify every external factor that helped you. Was it the timing of the market? Was it a mistake your competitor made? Was it the support of a specific team member? By attributing your success to external factors, you kill the illusion of invincibility. You remind yourself that you are not a god, you are a strategist who happened to navigate a specific set of circumstances successfully. This keeps you grounded. This keeps you hungry but careful. This leads us to the most important transition of your life, moving from the hunter to the guardian. Most people who fail in the game of power are perpetual hunters. They only know how to attack. They only know how to expand. But a hunter who never stops, hunting eventually runs into a bigger predator or collapses from exhaustion. To stay at the top for 25 years instead of 25 minutes, you must learn to be a guardian. A guardian knows that the real work begins after the victory. The real work is securing the borders, building the infrastructure, and making sure the people inside your kingdom are happy and loyal. Think about this in your daily, street-level life. When you win a negotiation or get a promotion, don't immediately start looking for the next thing to take. Instead, look at the people around you. Who did you step on to get here? Who is feeling left behind? Go to them, share the credit. Buy them lunch. Ask for their input on how to manage your new responsibilities. This is not just being a nice person. This is high-level strategy. You are turning potential enemies into a defensive wall. You are making sure that when you stop to catch your breath, nobody is standing behind you with a knife. Here is the ultimate solution to the tragedy of winning. Define the mark before you start. Before you enter any negotiation, any business venture, or any social competition, you must write down exactly what victory looks like. I want to reach X amount of revenue, or I want to secure this specific title. Once you hit that mark, you stop. You do not move the goalposts. You do not say, just a little bit more. You hit the mark. You take your hands off the steering wheel and you consolidate. If you want to go further, you start a completely new game, with a new strategy and a new mark. Never let your previous momentum carry you into unknown territory. We see this mistake in the world of content creation and digital entrepreneurship every single day. A creator hits 1 million subscribers and suddenly feels they need to post every hour to hit 10 million. They burn out, their quality drops, and their audience leaves. They didn't know when to stop. They didn't know how to transition from the growth phase to the sustainability phase. Don't be that person. Be the one who knows how to walk away from the table while your pockets are full. Robert Greene's Law 47 is about the power of self-control. It is the realization that the person who can control their own ambition is 10 times more powerful than the person who can only conquer others. Success is a tool, not a drug. Use it to build the life you want, but don't let it become a master that demands more of your soul every day. Stay cold, stay calculating, and most importantly, stay human. If you've made it this far,